Hey there, everyone, and welcome to GamePoints episode 185, your weekly get-together where we talk about recent gaming news. I'm, as always, your host, Stephen Brown. Join me today is...
I'm David.
Tonight, David, we are going to have to talk about how Bethesda can't fucking launch a game anymore without doing something stupid.
There's a gift that keeps on giving, really.
Yeah, really, they really are. We're going to talk about how apparently Rockstar North may or may not be cheating on their taxes, although I do think that the headlines of this story are a bit overblown, and some other various bits of the week that happen to go throughout. Of course, you happen to be joining us live here at Twitch TV/GamePoints, Mondays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You too can be part of the chat, much like Introspect. Thank you for showing back up once again. It's always good to see you in there. And yes, it has been a while. You were sorely missed. I was hoping nothing happened to you. But if you can't show up live, feel free to join the show in the comments down below over at youtube.com/GamePointsPC. Regardless of where you're at, you guys know what to do to support the show if you like it. David.
Yes, sir.
Before the show went live, we were kind of a couple minutes late because my audio is completely and totally fucked up.
Yeah, that sounds like something you would do.
To the point to where I was like, okay, I'm just going to start downloading drivers, and the drivers were downloading in... They would show up in English for a split second and immediately roll over into Japanese.
Yeah, your computer's seriously whack. I don't know what the hell you're doing over there.
So I need to do like a Windows default or like installation or something like that. And just default reset all the settings back to default or something. Something's weird with what's going on.
Dude, reinstalling Windows every few years is like a staple for me. It makes you feel good. It's like when you
absolutely do that.
It's the same thing for your computer as like when you wash your sheets and put clean sheets on the bed.
It does feel good when you do that, doesn't it?
It's just a nice time. Yeah. Well, your computer needs that too.
Yeah, clearly.
Fresh Windows will do it.
God damn, is there just something horribly, horribly wrong with it? So I'm probably going to do that tonight.
Yep.
David?
Yeah.
Over the weekend, as we get into the news, QuakeCon happened.
It did. QuakeCon.
I'm surprised there's very little information coming out from QuakeCon. Normally we get at least one or two tidbits, right?
Well, it's because, there's more Doom Eternal stuff, but there's not a whole lot of people that are playing, Quake Champions?
Did that even release? Did the Quake Champions even come out, or is it still like in beta, or what's the status of that game?
You can absolutely play it from the Bethesda launcher.
Which, I guess that brings us right into this first story right
here. Of all the things, of all my it's just a launcher, it's whatever. Bethesda is the one that to me, I'm like, you don't deserve to have a launcher. Like, it's not that I get mad at having multiple launchers, which I do. I get it. It's annoying. I really want GOG Galaxy 2 to come out so I can have all my games in one fucking place for the convenience. But Bethesda? Real? The quality of your shit? You think you have your own launcher? They could make Fallout 76 the best game of the year in updates, and I'll never find out because I don't want to put that back on my computer.
So while we're ranting about the Bethesda launcher, let's go ahead and get to this story that happened over the weekend. On Friday, Doom 1, 2, and 3, surprisingly, all stealth dropped on the Switch.
That is rad, dude. Original Doom, old school, on the Switch, on the go.
Yeah, I was super excited. I was super excited for it to celebrate Doom's 25th anniversary. Also, I didn't know Doom was celebrating its 25th anniversary. The original 1993 Doom, Doom 2, and Doom 3 have all magically appeared on the Nintendo Switch eShop last Friday. Essentially, they appeared before the announcement at QuakeCon. I think they released a little bit early, and then QuakeCon went, "Oh yeah, they're coming." But by then, the surprise was a little spoiled. Awesome. I was really excited for it. I literally had the Switch in hand as I was reading this online. And I was going to get Doom 1, 2, and possibly even 3. Because did you ever play Doom 3, by the way, David?
No, I didn't.
I
read about it. It seemed like it's not the worst game ever.
No, Doom 3 is very divisive because it's not really Doom. They went way survival horror-y with it. It was a lot slower paced. There were some flashlight issues. I remember when it first came out, though, and I was really into it because I liked the idea of Doom being a survival horror game, but that's not really Doom.
Not really.
No,
You're
Doom
supposed to kill everything.
Yeah, Doom was about being fast, blowing shit up, going from room to room to room, clearing out waves of enemies. And that's not what Doom 3 was. But that's a side of point. I just want to mention that I actually liked Doom 3. I was going to get all three of these on the Switch. The price is reasonable, sounds good, but then I started hearing about all this other shit online because apparently Moments after going live, people started to realize that they would have to connect to Battle.net to play these 25-year-old fucking games.
The funniest shit in the world are all the goddamn images, because looking at Doom 1 and seeing a screen that someone clearly made so that it looks like it was always there, that says, please log into your fucking Battle.net account to continue, is goddamn ridiculous.
Doom 1 and Doom 2 require you to log into a Bethesda account once to unlock the game. Doom 3 requires it every fucking time you play to get all the features and content required. And like you said, it's not like this shit was in there to begin with.
No, this shit's really, really fucking old. And it's funny, but it's also so frustrating and so stupid. Obviously, this got memed to shit on the internet as everyone started putting pictures of like Super Mario World saying "Please connect to Battle.net to continue," or
there was
every other old game
memes that happened with this. In retrospect, no, not Battle.net. BNet is now what Bethesda calls it's Bethesda Net. It's called BNet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, BNet. My bad.
Yeah, I know that common slang as BNet was for Battle.net, but that was never really an official thing. It was always officially called Battle.net. Bethesda calls their shit BNet officially, I believe.
No, it is what it is. Anyway, sign into your BNet account. Fucking whatever. You know what's crazy to me?
What is that?
Has anyone talked to John Carmack about this?
I don't know.
Think about it. Do you know anything about John Carmack?
Yeah, didn't he just release essentially a new mega wad for Doom?
Besides the fact that John Carmack's awesome and he's the guy that like helped make this shit back in the day, he's also like a huge advocate for open source.
Yeah.
Like he hates software patents, and he actively released the source code to both Wolfenstein and Doom back in like 96, 97.
Yeah.
Like, hey, guess what? Here's the fucking source code to Doom. You guys can do what you want. Get on all this Doom action. And then Bethesda's like, that's cute, but how about instead of that, we make people log into our fucking servers to play these old-ass games?
It does actually get a little bit worse than this, though.
It's insane.
Because over the weekend as well, Bethesda seemingly killed the backwards compatibility for Doom 1 and 2 from the 360 to the Xbox One.
Fucking ridiculous.
Now, they did say later that that was a glitch and that has been resolved.
Oh, okay.
And additionally,
Bethesda something that you did until you realized that people got really fucking mad at it. Glitch.
Bethesda also did say later about relating to having to connect online with the Switch Dooms that, quote, Bethesda Battle... I'm sorry. I'm making the Battle.net script as well now.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
The Bethesda Net logon requirement was included for the Slayers Club to reward members for playing the classic Doom games. This logon should be optional, and we are working on changing the requirement to be optional now. So essentially, Bethesda's saying, hey, sorry, all this stuff that just happened to coincide all at once, totally a mistake.
Cool, yeah, that makes sense.
Bullshit.
They're just taking every last shred of goodwill they've had over the years, and they're just finding every little piece of it and slashing that shit to ribbons.
This is such bullshit on Bethesda. What this sometimes I can see, okay, yeah, I can see how maybe a mistake might have happened here. No. Shit like this doesn't pass QA.
No, because you only need it if you get to the Slayers Club. So why is it in all three games, and why is it the first thing you have to do before you can play any of them?
Yeah, fuck that. This was meant to be intentional. They got their hands smacked, and Bethesda went, okay, we're just going to say it's a glitch. But this was fucking intentional.
Hell yeah, it was.
And they meant to sneak this in and hope that no one would freak out. I literally saw, I had the Switch in hand. I was about to turn it on to download these games because, like, fuck yeah, Doom 1 and 2 on the Switch. That sounds amazing. I've been craving things like this. And then I stopped when I started reading about this stuff. And I was like, no, I'm out. I'm fucking done. Nope. And I put the Switch back down. And I figured I don't need to have this hassle for 25-year-old games. Yarjun, welcome to the chat, by the way. They ask, did they let people play the single player without signing in? From what I understand, Yarjun, this was the very first thing that pops up.
Yeah, just keep in mind that Doom 1 and Doom 2, I think, are only single player.
Yeah, I think they're modded later to allow multiplayer.
Yeah, I think the base versions don't have any kind of multiplayer, so it's literally log into this account that What? Who the fuck even has a Bethesda net account?
That was my problem.
6 people that are still playing Fallout 76.
That was my big problem. It was one of those things where it's just like, okay, if it's like another client or whatever the fuck. But I couldn't be half-assed to remember my Bethesda net password.
Yep.
Let alone, God forbid, create a new Bethesda account. That was just a stretch too far for me.
I do not need to get your marketing emails telling me about all the shit you're trying to fix in Fallout. Like, I just don't need it.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that would be exactly why they have it on there, so they can send you marketing.
Why else?
It's just...
it's insane.
I have these games on so many other platforms that I don't need to do this shit, which makes the whole Xbox 360, Xbox One glitch even more fucking egregious.
Yeah, I really doubt they did that on accident. They were
wasn't.
fully planning on, if you want to play it, you have to play the new version. If you want to play the new version, you have to sign into our account. And somehow they expected people to not get pissed about it. But guess what, Bethesda? People don't really love you anymore.
No, they've pissed away all their goodwill. Starting somewhere around when Fallout 4 came out, when people kind of went, okay, this is fine, but it's not really what it was more like Fallout 3.5, and we're seeing shit do it better, like The Witcher. And now they really don't have much to stand on other than what Tango Gameworks is doing. So all the they do let's roll things back a little, because Bethesda does have some good shit, right? Wolfenstein, the New Order, and the New Blood, I think, or the New Colossus. The Order and the New Colossus are both amazing. Youngblood's not so much. Tango Gameworks, everything they've done has been amazing. Arcane's been doing some good shit. But Bethesda itself, like Bethesda Gameworks and a lot of their more smaller subsidiaries, they just have a lot of bad blood going on. I'm kind of ranting and rambling right now. Let's see. Yardstone says Doom and Doom 2 both had multiplayer. I'm talking about the original releases. I don't know about this release of the base games. Oh, okay. So they did have multiplayer. Good to know. Once again, these are things that are like 25 plus years old. I don't remember the last time I even looked at Doom, besides I'm going to play this on my phone real quick.
I mean, I checked out the mod that Carmack did.
Yeah, like he just recently did that too. Didn't he have like a $250 collector's edition that came with all kinds of cool shit along with there?
I don't know about that, but he did release like a new map pack. I don't remember what you call them.
It's like a super wad or a mega wad or
he did some nonsense. Carmack released his wad and everyone enjoyed it. That's what happened.
There is a specific name for it, and I know it's WAD though. It's something WAD, and it's essentially a map pack. And this was supposed to run with the straight up old school. You have the floppies of Doom, and you can go. So yeah, Bethesda can't even fucking launch a 25-year-old game right without something going on, and it's just Mega Wad. Thank you, Yarjun. Mega Wad. God.
Yeah, this
damn it.
Despite their claims, this was not an accident. This was not just an optional thing for the Slayers Club. Come on, guys.
No. Anyways, David.
Yeah.
We're about to move on, but before we do, I want to ask people in chat watching either right now live or later over on YouTube, let us know what you think about this bullshit. Are we the assholes here? Should we be expected to put in our log on?
No.
Is that too much to ask? Or are we like really overblowing this shit?
No. We can't be wrong. It's the children who are wrong.
Because in the final analysis, right, this is one of those very, very minor things that just kind of blew up because of how fucking it's not like Bethesda ate a baby, but it is one of those things you look at and go, guy, this is a 25-year-old game.
It is still the kind of thing that because if I buy a Switch game, I rarely buy Switch games when I'm like planning on sitting in the house. It's the kind of thing is I'm going on a trip tomorrow, or I have to get on an airplane for some reason, and I'll literally like download a game the night before, and then in the morning I'll grab my Switch and I'll leave. Like I use my Switch when I travel. So for me, if I was like, oh man, Doom, awesome, I would grab my Switch and then I would be like on a plane or something. Good call out, Yarjun. You misspelled the episode.
I misspelled the goddamn episode.
Anyway, when I leave, I would just grab my Switch in the morning and I'd head to the airport or whatever, and I'd fly off, and then I'd be turning on my Switch to play Doom, and it would say, by the way, you need to log in. By the way, to log in, you need to have a network connection. And I'm on a goddamn play, and I'm not about to spend $12 so I can get online.
It
to log
literally
in
defeats the
to play a
sole
25-year-old
not
game.
the sole purpose, but it defeats one of the major selling points of the Switch.
That's ridiculous.
David,
Yeah.
I'm done with this topic.
I could go on all night, but yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on to something just as entertaining, and that's tax evasion, or at least that's how the fucking gaming press is highlighting this as. I find these headlines, by the way, highly misleading to a degree. They fall into that category of technically correct, but not they're stretching it a little bit.
I mean, how's that different than literally any other form of media or news?
Hey,
that's what headlines are for.
So this is via Twinfinite, and I don't mean to be singling out Twinfinite. I actually love Twinfinite a lot, but this has been kind of the nonstop headline ever. Let me read you the headline out the gate and tell me what you think off the top of your head.
Okay, yeah,
you,
this
David,
is what we need to do.
People at Twitch or those playing at home later. Headline: Rockstar North has paid no corporate tax in 10 years.
You know what I think off the top of my head? I think that Rockstar North has paid no corporation tax in 10 years.
See, I see that headline, and to me, I read that headline and go, "Why are you?" Doesn't that put the blame on Rockstar North though? Doesn't that make it sound like they're doing something shady as fuck?
Not really. Not that wording. There's far more like seedy ways that you could word that phrase. This is like super simple and to the point to me. Maybe I'm just naive, but company hasn't paid this in amount of time. That's okay. Cool. I would like to know more. So I'm going to find out.
Let's get into more, because it does kind of
now. If it said Rockstar North has evaded taxes for 10 years, that's a goddamn accusation. That's some nonsense.
Fair enough. That
could be libel if it wasn't true. This is just a fact.
I want to bring this because you and I have read this article, so we're going into this kind of knowing what's coming up. But I want your guys' opinion out the gate. If you haven't read these articles, what that sentence means to you. Please let me know in the comments. Going to the article now. Rockstar North, the Edinburgh-based branch of Rockstar Games, has reportedly paid no corporation tax over the last 10 years. This despite earning billions for the parent company Take-Two Interactive, while still claiming over £42 million, which is roughly 52 million American, in tax relief. The company did not pay any corporation tax from 2009 to 2018, instead of receiving a £42 million tax credits for the government's video game tax relief scheme. The scheme was created in 2014 to reinforce the UK's modest £5 billion game industry, at which the time was largely comprised of smaller developers. So, a government did what governments do. They went up to a business and said, "Hey, you set up shop in this area, and we will give you a tax break."
Yeah, because they need the business. They need the money. That's how that works.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm an American. I get this.
There is nothing wrong with that at all. But why the headlines then? And they're not targeting. They're not saying.
Okay, now hold on. Before you keep going.
Okay.
Because I have to do this.
Okay.
I immediately just Googled fucking Rockstar North no corporate tax, so I could see these examples of the misleading headlines that are driving people to. Let's see. Grand Theft Auto Maker has paid no UK corporation tax in 10 years. Okay. Grand Theft Auto has paid no corporate tax. Rockstar North hasn't paid corporation tax. Rockstar Games has paid no UK tax. Watch Dogs slams lead Grand Theft Auto studio for avoiding corporate taxes. That one I'll give you.
But here's my problem with it. It makes Rockstar North look to be the bad guy, but they're not. If you want to, they're not the target that you should be focusing on. The target that should be focused on, if you're against this idea, is the government, not Rockstar North. Because it's not like Rockstar North's choosing not to pay taxes. The government's going, "Hey, we are giving you a tax cut if you set up shop here." That's not Rockstar North saying we're just not going to pay taxes. Do you see what I'm saying? And a lot of the tone of these articles are targeting Rockstar North because there seems to be a big push to demonize the bigger AAA publishers for how much money they make, which there are a lot of things to go after AAA publishers for. Your big ones like Take-Two, EA, Activision. But what a lot of these articles seem to be doing is targeting how much money they have. And it's like, guys, this is one of those things that's not on them. This is on the government. And it drives me nuts when people I don't want to say make shit up to be outraged about when there are other things to be outraged about. They're not really.
There's plenty of shit to be mad about, like the fact that Bethesda can't release 25-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. They're not making this up, but it's if you want to attack Take-Two, there are stronger ways to attack Take-Two than this.
That's true.
But they focus on.
I don't play Grand Theft Auto Online anymore because I think the grind is too intense.
So let me come back to chat here real quick. Yarjon says huge difference between tax evasion and corporate warfare, to be quite honest. Yes, and this is neither one of those. This is not either tax evasion or corporate warfare. Corporate warfare is giving a subsidy to a company saying, we're going to give you $2 billion to bail you out. Kind of like what we fucking did in 2008 because of too big to fail shit, which there's no company too big to fail. That's bullshit. This is not giving Rockstar North money. This is letting them keep their money. There is a difference.
Now,
go ahead.
The one trouble I could see, though, from the side of the UK, right, in that they wanted to get this corporation to be there because it's profitable, and ideally, they would benefit from that.
Yes.
The fact that they're not paying corporate tax means that they're not, and this source for like all of these articles come from an actual like tax watch organization based in the UK that did a report on tax breakdowns from various companies, and the Grand Theft Auto one is, by the way, Grand Theft Auto makes, or fucking keep saying Grand Theft Auto, I should be saying Rockstar.
They are one and the same at this point.
I know, makes this much fucking money, and this is how much the UK has made off of it, which is zero between 2009 and 2018.
So here,
which sounds like maybe they should have written those laws a little better.
The reason why a company would get a tax break to set up shop in the area is because the government, both local, state, let's use the United States for example, because this is in England, but let's use the United States for example. Mm-hmm. Let's say San Francisco wants to entice a company that's up here, and San Francisco I know isn't necessarily the best example, but we'll go with it. San Francisco, New York. We'll go to New York because they recently had that Amazon fallout about Amazon just pulling out. The city of New York goes, hey, Amazon, set up your business here, and we will let you keep X amount of taxes. The reason why they do that, or you'll get X amount of tax breaks, so you're not paying that much in taxes. The reason why they do that is because the city of New York believes that the job creation from Amazon setting up a business there will outweigh the taxes incoming from taxing that company accordingly. Mm-hmm. That's the logic behind it. Why are they being attacked for it? Why are there headlines about this?
Because there was a report that came out. I don't know.
In which case, then, why attack Rockstar North? Attack the politicians.
Maybe this was the biggest one they could find, and so they're using this as a basis to, I don't know.
Then go after the politicians behind it. Target the actual
tax
credit scheme that they
maybe they need this report first before they can do that.
It just all feels so
because part of the original report, because I'm actually looking through it right now, talks about how in order to qualify for any of the tax credits, the Rockstar Game Studio had to be certified as culturally British by the British Institute of whoever in order to qualify for all this stuff, and they did because most of the game was technically built in the UK.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Rockstar North is based in Edinburgh.
They worked it out that way.
Other comments in the chat. Let's see. Salty Frank says, immediately makes me think that they have some people really good at finding tax loopholes. That's in reference to the name of that article right there, but that's just it. That's not a tax loophole. It's straight.
It's not even a loophole. It's just the regular, because they're a certified British company, they qualify for these tax breaks.
Salty Frank also says, confused as why this is suddenly of a news cycle. I thought this was known already because of that watchdog group quickly coming out that we were mentioning earlier. There was a watchdog group that said, hey, this is fucked up. They're getting essentially a £5 billion tax credit. Okay, cool. That's not on Rockstar North. That's on the government. I take real big umbrage with a lot of the specifically the headlines, because in my mind, and once again, I want you guys to read this headline if at first let me know what you say before you get into the rest of the conversation. What does that headline to me? I read that and I go, okay, these articles are attacking Rockstar North and saying that they've done something, but they haven't. That's just how I read it. Now, hey, we're all biased as fuck in one way or another. And I see a lot of, I don't know. I also think that this is a problem with just churn as well, where one gaming site will write something and all the others kind of jump on it and write more or less the same thing.
Most important, I think, is, like I said, I'm on the actual report, and this is something that a lot of the articles, even the Twinfinite article that we pulled this from, missed. I feel like they gleaned over this report and they didn't bother to actually read it,
which comes back to my churn
yes
problem.
I'm going to read the conclusion portion of this report to you.
Okay.
And I feel like I need to do it in its entirety so you really get an idea of what the actual motherfuckers who delve into this and released it had to say about it. Conclusions and recommendations. Grand Theft Auto has been referred to by some as a great British export. However, a brief look at the accounts of the UK-based developer of the game, with its slender profits, would not lead one to that conclusion. Rather than a picture of success, the accounts of the developers of the game, Rockstar North, show that the company has earned so little that they've been eligible to claim tax credits from the government. The situation is absurd. The large amounts of subsidy that Rockstar North has been able to claim from the UK government demonstrates that the video games tax credit system is not working as intended. The government should hold an immediate review into its effectiveness. Furthermore, there are serious questions over how the company has been treated for tax purposes in the UK. And it goes on a little bit, but that's kind of the gist of why I assumed this existed, because they're saying, hey, guess what? These guys haven't paid us any taxes. We brought them here literally to make money off them, and that's not happening. What the fuck? We should probably fix it.
And I'm fine with the watchdog groups wording that report, because they don't necessarily attack Rockstar, because it's not Rockstar that's doing it. It's the government.
They use Rockstar as a pretty big example of, hey, by the way, if Rockstar was paying us taxes, we would have like an extra $46 million.
Yeah. And, well, remember, it's not that Rockstar's not paying their taxes. The government okayed them not to pay the taxes.
Yeah.
See, there's that mentality. It's not like it's not fucking Rockstar's fault. And
I'm saying if Rockstar had to pay, like if they didn't have, if they weren't able to claim the,
I know the wording on it. It's literally one word that can change.
I'm not a fucking CPA, man. I make this up as I go.
So here's the thing: the watchdog groups report, I'm totally reasonable. I'm like, yes, they are targeting the government because it's the government that's okaying this shit. The articles being written about it aren't conveying that at all, though. At all. And that I have a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways.
It's like making a new discussion to create a villain when there's an actual legitimate discussion to be had.
It's that goddamn thing that I absolutely hate.
Yeah, that's something that me and you can actually agree on.
Yeah, it's
sometimes we very much don't. That sometimes there are problems, yes. But you don't just keep treating the problem. You actually find the cause.
Yeah.
Not a symptom.
It's one of those things where I'm going to bring a little bit of politics there. It's like, remember when you had a segment of the country that was saying like, oh, Obama wasn't born in this country, blah, blah, blah. It's like, guys, fucking stop that. There are plenty of other issues to criticize him for. You don't need to make shit up to criticize him.
Yeah, that's why I can't keep looking at political stuff. There's too much.
And
I'm mad about this specific thing. Okay, but how about we be mad about this specific real thing?
And that's what this is. It's like, guys, there is shit to criticize on this. There's shit to criticize Take-Two and Rockstar and everything about it. Once again, the casino thing. Salty Frank in chat brings up a good point. The only reason why this article probably exists is because of the casino thing going around because of search engine optimization. It's hot in the news, which means you talk about find some way to tie in
about that Rockstar casino.
You find some way to mention Grand Theft Auto in all of your fucking articles as I lose my goddamn train of thought.
Yeah, dude. And the final line from the report, I'll throw this in there, and I think this should wrap up our topic as well, pretty well. There's no evidence that the HMRC has challenged this setup, or they're like the governing body, has challenged the setup, or that Take-Two or any of the individuals named in this report has acted illegally. However, it is open for HRMC to challenge the allocation of profit under the transfer pricing system, and we urge them to investigate this case urgently. And there you go. That's
Better,
what this report's for. Hey guys, someone look into this because it ain't working.
a better headline, in my opinion, would have been. Let's craft this here.
Poor tax laws allowed Rockstar to claim zero. Fuck, I don't know how to word legal shit.
I know what you're getting at, though, but that way you're putting the emphasis on the tax law, not the company. Because the company is not fucking fault here. They're not. It's not like they're getting paid by the government. They're just not having to pay their taxes. And yes, that is a different thing. It is letting Rockstar keep their money as opposed to giving.
They're paying exactly as much tax as they're supposed to. It's just that because of this law, they're not supposed to.
Yeah. It's bad. It's dumb. Coca Tacos, welcome to the chat, by the way. Good to have you here. Free marketing for Rockstar. Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, there is the belief of there's no such thing as bad press. Not necessarily something I ascribe to myself, but we are talking about it. We are talking about Grand Theft Auto. And
I just love how all these fucking articles are. There's been no response from Rockstar North at this time. Has anyone just called the UK government and asked them for a response? Hey, tax guys, do you have anything to say? God damn, Salty Frank, that is the realest headline I've ever heard of in my life.
Government wastes taxpayers' money headline. So
God, that's too real, man. I can't handle that.
Here's another thing about that. We reached out and haven't got any comment yet. I do know a little bit how the sausage is made on this stuff. When they say they reached out for comment, they went, okay, this article goes live in 30 minutes. I'm going to fire off this email. Nope, don't have a response yet. And then they'll word it like, there's been no immediate comment.
Yeah.
And it's like, motherfucker, you didn't even plan. You didn't even give them time to respond. And that happens a lot too.
That's fair.
But it's that it falls into that technically correct thing, which yes, I know technically correct is the only kind of correct, blah, blah, blah.
The only exception to that specific thing where they send it out like right before is what were we talking about a few months ago where there was like that Draken Schreier investigative report about like working conditions at whatever studio. And he emailed to say, do you have anything to say about all these like things that your employees said? And they're like, nah. And then 20 minutes after his article went up, they had that follow-up post about how that whole article is full of shit, basically.
That's different though, because that was an article that was researched for like 2 or 3 months, and
I know, that's
time on it.
But in the entirety of us doing this show, almost that's the only time I can think of where it was the opposite.
Yeah, any kind of long-form feature that's being worked on for weeks at a time will usually be all right when they say, hey, this company never returned comment, because those usually, the person's like, okay, it's going to take like a week and a half to get this out or a week to get this out. Let me go see if I can't start trying on getting comment on this. But the quick news blurbs like this, which is, I read you almost the entirety of the Twinfit article. It's like 3 paragraphs long. That was written in 10 minutes, maybe 30. That shit doesn't. They fire off. And once again, I'm not meaning to bash Twinfit. I actually like Twinfit as a site. I think they're one of the better ones out there. Go take twinfit.net, give them some love. But it is one of those things.
Don't listen to him. Don't read the news. That's why we're here. Watch.
Yeah, we're
news.
here to read the news to you.
Come on.
I think you guys get what I'm saying. I can go on this topic for days, because it is one of those things I see it and go, okay, this is a little fucked up. This is people trying to. It's either people trying to get their little personal pet grievances out, or they're just repeating what someone else said and regurgitating it slightly for the churn. And that's a big problem, and not just games media, but media in general. And it's something that needs to be addressed.
But not by us.
No, not by us.
Stay tuned as we take a brief commercial break.
David,
just kidding. We're not sponsored by anybody. I guess maybe alcoholism.
Normally, we tend to go back and forth on these stories. I've said the last 2. I'm going to take this one as well, because I think you want the next one.
Yeah, dude, it'll be great.
So we're going to go to something a little bit sad. No one died or anything like that, but it does involve a recurring theme throughout the past couple of years of game industry, and that is layoffs. And essentially, Defiant Development, it's a studio that's known for Hand of Fate 2. I really liked both those games. They're shutting down. Almost completely and totally, it sounds like. This is from their Facebook page. Real quick, by the way, all links to all stories will be provided down below in the YouTube info section there, so feel free to click to verify what I'm talking about. This will be read in full, so bear with me. It's not going to take. Well, we'll find out. I am going to read it in full though, because it bears.
It's about the same length as the report I read earlier. It's not that bad.
It is with sadness that we announce Defiant is ceasing development. First and foremost, this means that our incredibly talented team are looking for new rules. Every one of them is a champion of their field, and if you can hire them, you should. When we started the studio, we did so with a clear goal in mind: to hire great people, to create great games, and to do that in an ethical manner with respect for our team and our audience. In 2010, Australia desperately needed studios to demonstrate it was possible to have a substantial Australian-owned IP-generating homes for talent. That there was a studio model in Australia that would thrive without being dependent on international ownership. That Australian studios could make console games again. 9 years later, there's no question that this is true, and there are many Australian studios, old and new, demonstrating that Australian game development is truly world-class. The Defiant model is always focused on creating games nobody else would. Games that reflected the skills and passion of our team. Games that did something new. Our process has always been focused on iteration and exploration. We go into dark places, searching for hidden treasures. We set out without knowing where this journey will take us, and we do so knowing that the unknown is not always safe. That is a risky way to make games, and we knew that. When it succeeds, it delivers things you could never have considered possible. When it fails, it leaves you without a safety net. The games market has changed in ways both big and small in the 9 years we've been in business. We have not been able to change quickly enough to continue with them. To everyone who has supported us on this journey, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. To everyone who's ever worked with Defiant, thank you so much for sharing your work and yourselves. Studios rise and studios fall, but people are always more important. To the people of Defiant, staff, friends, family, and partners, thank you. May your future shine bright, and may you change the world for the better. I'd like to leave you with a small glimpse at the game that we were working on. This video is incredibly early, but shows you a little bit of what we plan to create next. At this point, Defiant will continue in caretaker mode to support our existing products. David, if you take a look at that link that they put in there about their next coming up game, it actually does look pretty goddamn cool.
No, that was actually that was the most upsetting part, is their current project, or their last project, I should say, looks rad.
It was called, let me take a look at what it was called. I can't remember what it was called. It was going to be called A World in My Attic. And it was along the lines of Hand of Fate and Hand of Fate 2, where it was kind of like a board game-ish looking thing.
A weird mix of a video game with board game elements, because it looks like it's hex-based almost in the world, because the world takes place on a board game. I don't know. It looks cool.
If you've played either one of those Hand of Fate games, you'll have an idea of what they like to do with their games, and it was very apparent here. I really enjoyed those two games. It is a goddamn shame they were closing. I was looking forward to them doing a Hand of Fate 3. I had a brief Twitter conversation with them way back right when the second one came out, and they did hint at, like, yes, we are going to be making a third one eventually down the road, but we have something else on the boilerplate right now. Apparently this was it. And goddamn, I hate seeing any developer close, especially one that I really had an affinity for. And hearts go out to everyone that was laid off due to Defiant Development's closing. I want to say by them, because it's not like they had a choice in the matter. And I hope they all land on their feet soon. I'm trying to think of other Australian studios that are out there. I know that I want to say that Team Bondi was one, but they don't exist anymore. Those are the guys that made LA Noire and were working on Horror of the Orient before that got canned. Are you doing a quick look on Australian game development there? I hear the keyboard clicking.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm looking at something else.
Fair
I was actually looking to see if I could find a copy of the Hand of Fate board game. I'm not gonna lie, because I forgot it existed.
Did it actually come out?
I believe so.
Or was it just in development?
I mean, I know it was funded on Kickstarter.
Yeah, that's something else to think about too. Did it come out, or the people who funded that fucked, or what's the status of that, I wonder?
Yeah, I just don't know.
They are going into caretaker mode to support their existing products. That's the last line on there. So I have to wonder if they're like, hey, we are going to get this out, and once that's out, we're done. Irrational Games, I want to say, was in Chicago there, Coco for Tacos. I could be wrong, but I believe Irrational Games was somewhere in the American Midwest. And they don't exist anymore either. Irrational Games closed very, very soon after BioShock Infinite. Ken Levine wanted to work on smaller teams. My gut tells me BioShock Infinite's development cost went way over budget, because that game was rebooted a couple times. But yeah, best of luck to you guys out there. I hope you all land on your feet. It does absolutely suck when a studio closes. David?
It does.
I know you love this next topic. It deals with something that you love and MechWarrior.
Something else. That's fucked up because I do also love MechWarrior. I had my own intro for this. That's okay. We'll just get into it. So, adding to the lists of things that make really, really just a lot of people really, really upset, and I've been completely
salty,
immune to,
as it were. There's a lot of rage, and you like to poke the fucking hive on this. Like, you deliberately antagonize people on this.
Yeah, I love it. I just absolutely love it because there's a bunch of people that get really mad about this, and I always think it's funny. And then they came for me. MechWarrior 5
Jesus.
Mercenaries has been confirmed as both being delayed to December 10th from September and launching exclusively on the Epic Game Store.
Womp womp.
They came for Borderlands, and I didn't say anything. They came for Metro.
For Phoenix Point, and I didn't say anything.
And now they're coming for MechWarrior. Oh, man.
No, I don't know how I feel about taking that specific poem when what it actually is in a historical context and applying it to this.
See you, Coco. Thanks for hanging out tonight.
Gamers rise up.
It has been officially announced that MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries will now be releasing on December 10th, 2019, exclusively on the Epic Game Store. In a quote from the team who's putting this together, it's not Piranha. Who the hell's doing it?
No, it's Piranha.
Is it Piranha?
Yeah,
I was thinking it was Catalyst. Sorry, I keep getting the current
Catalyst
board game
is doing
owners.
the board game, which looks amazing.
Yep.
And by the way,
the board game is solid right now. I love Catalyst.
Super
I love everything
jazzed
they're
at
doing.
their Clan Evasion, I don't know if it's specifically Kickstarter, but it was crowdfunded. Hit that fucking goal in like an hour.
Destroyed it, yeah. Anyway, in a quote from whoever the fuck is the ones making the video game.
This is from the press release. What you're seeing here is from the press release.
Our partnership with Epic Game Store allows us the opportunity to make sure MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries meets our internal goal of creating the best MechWarrior game possible. Since they've been working on this for a long time, and most of the game development was already taking place when they made MechWarrior Online, and so now they're mostly working on fixing systems, adding some additional features, and giving a coherent story. I'm more thinking that this should read, our partnership with the Epic Game Store allows us to make more money, which is why every other person is putting things on the Epic Game Store.
This is absolutely spin.
This is the most spin. The funny thing is that I am here to put my money where my mouth is, and yes, I will still buy it on the Epic Game Store because I don't actually give a fuck.
Care. You do not.
It doesn't
care
matter
at all
to me
about the Epic Game Store. In fact, if I recall, and I know for a fact this is true because we fucking mention this every other week, it seems. You think people bitching about the Epic Game Store are a bunch of whiny babies?
Yeah, I do. It's delicious to me. I can't get enough of it. I'm literally just gonna get like a fucking prepaid credit card for however much MechWarrior 5 costs. I'm gonna throw it on my Epic Store account. I'm gonna buy the game. My Epic Store account won't have any extra money left on it, and it won't have any of my banking information, and I will still be able to play MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. Okay, yes, maybe I won't have achievements. Maybe I won't have other stuff that I don't give a fuck about. I don't need a friends list to play a MechWarrior game. I never have. I didn't need it when I was playing MechWarrior 3, so I'll be okay. Moving on, though, because this is the part where it gets salty. Going on, fans looking to obtain refunds from their pre-orders of any tier are able to do so by September 1st. Because, yes, some people have already pre-ordered this game. Pre-order refunds of any tier will be refunded in full. Additionally, those seeking refunds will be able to keep all bonus MechWarrior Online content from the standard, collector, and ultimate editions of the pre-order, which amount to $100, $180, and $300 respectively worth of in-game currency and content for MechWarrior Online, including all bonus items, XP, premium time, badges, decals, cockpit items, and more, depending on which pre-order tier was purchased. However, refunded pre-orders will forfeit their access to the full game and be unable to participate in the upcoming closed beta for MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, which has now been scheduled for November, and will also lose the exclusive MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries DLC items.
That's fine. In fact, that's extremely generous because they could have said, no, sorry, your pre-order came with shit that actually has a monetary value that cannot be unredeemed. You're stuck.
So that's a nicer part. So we had the refunds before where like Epic foots a bill. This sounds like they're just footing it. Here you go, have your money back. Which that's good on you, Piranha. That's not bad. I can see why people will be very, very upset about this. However, I have long subscribed to the notion that I don't pre-order shit.
Yeah.
Ever. For any fucking reason. Even if it's legitimately from my favorite video game franchise.
Which of this is? I mean, I think it bears to be stated.
The last
MechWarrior
video
is
game
fucking Babylon 5. For me.
Yeah, the Battletech universe is my universe. That's where I live. I can smoke cigars and drink scotch and talk about Battletech for 4 hours. I've done it several times. But the last video game I ever kickstarted was MechWarrior Online. And it was specifically the game that soured me on that entire process. And it's why I don't back this kind of shit.
Yeah.
Because it was just so ridiculous and so haphazard and so poorly managed. But the game itself is great. I really like MechWarrior Online. It's just no one plays it with me. So eventually I fell off of it because as much as I like just shooting other people, that's not why I play MechWarrior.
That is the
I've
one.
Always
wanted... That's the one MechWarrior game you need other people to play.
Yep, I've always just wanted MechWarrior 2 again. So yeah, I will play MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries. It's gonna look great. Very excited for it. Can't wait. I'm most sad that it got delayed more than anything else from this story.
This is going to tie back into the earlier conversation we had about people making shit up when there are legitimate reasons to be pissed off about something.
Yeah, there's companies that have done this way dirtier. Piranha saying, hey, by the way, we're going to give you your full refund and all the bonus shit for our other game, you still get it. That's awesome.
Epic Game Store does have a lot of fucking problems.
Absolutely. And there's plenty of shit to bitch about.
Salty Frank in chat mentions about how if you buy a lot of game at once, your bank will mark it as a fraudulent charge because there's fucking issues with the Epic Game Store. There is a lot of shit wrong.
Hell yeah. And there's no shopping cart.
Do you know what is not wrong with it? The fucking exclusivity deals. At least not on Epic Game side.
Yeah. It's hard to fart Piranha. It's hard to fart. Hard to blame Piranha for wanting to make more money with their video game. It's really, really hard to argue with that 88% split.
Yeah, no, and I don't blame if you want to be upset at if you want to be upset at someone about the exclusivity part of it, be upset at the developer because this is not Epic Game Store. Epic Store is saying, "Hey, we're going to pay you this much. It's up to the developer to choose to take that or not." They're the ones at fault here, not Epic. In the case of the exclusivity discussion. And let's be honest here. And I've mentioned this multiple times. It is fun to bitch about the Epic Game Store. A lot of people get gratification and feeling like they're fighting the machine and are part of root by going like, yeah, fuck Epic Games. We're not going to buy any of their shit. Blah, blah, blah.
Plus, I need
blah,
somebody
blah,
to keep me happy.
But when push comes to shove, the vast majority of these people who are protesting Epic Game are going to boycott MechWarrior 5 will be playing that fucking game on Epic Game Store the day it launches. And I know this for a fact.
Same with fucking Borderlands.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that game's going to do phenomenal. They're going to have
Phoenix
no
Point or Metro or whatever. Because not only do we get articles, like going back to Metro, about how like they putting them on Epic Game Store actually and making them sell more copies. But I have...
You have to bring it up. You have to bring it up every time.
I hate using this term because I have sources who will not speak on record, so take it for what you will, who see this shit, who will see people who say, I'm boycotting game XXX. And they see that fucking same username who's on their forum bitching about this, playing that fucking game the day it releases.
It always goes back to that legitimate Steam group that said, boycott Modern Warfare on Steam. And if you saw them, that entire Steam group, the day it launched, were playing Modern Warfare on Steam. Because they can't put their money where their mouth is. If you legitimately hate Epic, then don't put your money there.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Vote with your wallet. And I am. There are two phrases that I'm fond of saying stuff like this. One, vote with your wallet. The second, any boycott that involves voting with your wallet is doomed to fucking fail. Because people do vote with their wallet, and it's never in favor of the boycott. But ultimately, that's what it comes down. People just like to bitch about Epic Game Store. And once again, there are legitimate reasons. There are massive security concerns. Tencent's a whole nother fucking conversation that I don't want to get into right now, but I am terrified of legitimately terrified of Tencent.
Hell yeah, and you should be. That's a legitimate complaint.
These are things that are worth talking about when it comes to the Epic Game Store. The exclusivity thing is I don't fucking care. And this is not a problem. Okay, yeah, that would explain why they got blocked out, because I have links turned off. So, sorry about that, Yar. Anyways, David, I think we have, one more story to go on here. Let us know, of course, what you think about MechWarrior 5 going exclusive on the Epic Game Store in either chat here at Twitch or in the YouTube comments down below, or just in general. Keep it civil. I know the Epic Game Store is a hot button. I know that both of us, David more so than me, tend to be pretty antagonistic with people complaining about it.
That's because it's fun. Really?
But let us know what you think down below. And if you are one of those few people who actually say, I'm not going to buy this now, and don't buy it, more power to you. I will believe individuals who say that to me. If someone walks up to me individually and says, I am not going to buy X, I will usually believe them. It's the group that I don't believe.
No, I know someone who has not installed the Epic Game client and has not downloaded anything and hasn't bought anything and says they won't. And I believe that.
Individuals, I believe. Groups, I do not. So, moving on to the final topic of the night, and this is kind of a throwaway thing, but I wanted to mention it real quick because I think it might. I want to kind of gauge what people's interest is on this.
Wait, really quick, I just have to say, there's nothing that Epic has done so far to make me more upset than anything Uplay did when it came out.
Exactly. And
because that was actually egregious.
Uplay by far is the most garbage of all the clients out there, followed close to by Origin. But at least Origin is serviceable now.
That's true. Sometimes you can get parties.
And remember, everyone bitching about the client. None of us bitched about Battle.net.
Nope.
Ever.
But I actively bitched about BNet earlier.
Right. But that only applies to people who say they don't want to download another client. Anyways, moving on. Enough of that. I am done with this topic. I guarantee we'll revisit it in 2 weeks, if not sooner.
Probably.
This is all from a press release, so it's going to sound sterile and markety as hell, but apparently Corsair has acquired Origin PCs. Corsair, a world leader in high-performance gaming peripherals and custom enthusiast components, is pleased to announce that it has acquired custom gaming PC Little Origin PC. A quote from Andy Paul, founder of Corsair. With the gaming PC market continuing to expand as an increasing number of players make the jump from console to PC, we want to do more to reach customers in North America that prefer to buy rather than build their system. With Origin PC expertise and personalized custom gaming systems, and Corsair's strength and performance, PC hardware, and the IQ system software ecosystem, we're excited to combine our efforts to create a world-class gaming experiences for PC gamers. Origin PC remain a separate brand within Corsair and continue to operate from its Miami, Florida offices. All existing Origin PC warranties, purchases, and support are unaffected and will continue to provide Origin PC's world-class customer support team. God damn, I fucking hate business Twitch talk. I hate it. It's so fucking redundant because it has to run through legal and shit. That's why. That's why I see the name in those two paragraphs. I see the name Corsair 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and I see the name Origin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
And isn't it always annoying when you're reading these things because the names of the companies are always all caps? And to me, it's like, I don't know, it bothers me a little.
The point is, a Corsair has bought Origin. Now, what?
Cool. Good job, guys.
What do you think? Just out the gate, do you even care?
This will not affect me even a little bit because I only build my own computers. For people that like to buy computers, this is actually pretty cool because Corsair, in my opinion, makes a pretty decent project. And from what I've heard and read of Origin's PC specs, they don't suck. So now you can likely get a pre-built PC that also comes with a pretty decent keyboard, mouse, and headphones. Cool. Instead of having the Origin partner with various companies, they now have a dedicated company that's going to help them, have more money to spend on research and development and putting out new projects. And they're all going to be tagged with Corsair parts. Cool. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't mean anything to me. It's they're still both going to be doing their own thing, right? They're not dissolving Origin. They're not dissolving Corsair.
Right. They're just merging.
Yeah, they're not renaming
one
themselves.
One is buying the other. So from the press release itself, because people in chat are asking, are there going to be two companies or one? Origin remained a separate brand, but Corsair would own them. It's kind of like what's a good example?
Who did Logitech just buy?
I can't remember, but Square Enix. Let's take no, that's a bad example. They're all essentially the same company.
Logitech brought Astro,
branch.
remember?
Yes, I do remember that. I couldn't remember who they bought.
It's the same thing. Astro still exists. Logitech still exists. It's just now they have a parent company. Just like if you watch television, you're watching one of 3 companies.
Yeah, for the most part. It's like how anyways, the point's been driven up. Yeah. What I see a little bit interesting from this is that you're taking a company that was originally designed around the idea of building these PCs, right? With what kind of, I don't want to say whatever parts they can find, but for the because that makes it sound bad, but they weren't really restricted in what they were putting in their shit. But now that they're bought by Corsair, what's the likelihood that you're going to see anything, whenever it can be Corsair, always be Corsair?
It will always be Corsair. All accessories will always be Corsair. That's going to be the big reason. Origin's probably doing well enough, and they're selling enough hardware that Corsair sees a reason that they would tie into it and, make some money off of it.
Doesn't that ultimately kind of kill some of the versatility of Origin?
Not really, because I'm assuming that that's only going to be for package deals, because Origin still sells standalone desktops and shit. Fair enough. If you want the whole kit and caboodle version, then it's just probably going to come with Corsair accessories as opposed to any other accessory.
Does Corsair also make some hardware though as well, if I recall? I mean, beyond peripherals, don't they? I think they make they make some RAM. They have
there's Corsair Vengeance powering my computer right now.
And mine too. I believe I have Corsair Vengeance. I'm almost positive I do. At that point, though, doesn't it start becoming less Origin? You can kind of take the best of everything to this is now just all Corsair shit. At what point is this no longer? They say that Origin still going to exist, but at what point does Origin really exist anymore? And it's just now an arm to get Corsair built machines out there.
Good question.
I guess we'll see. Salty Frank. I thought I had Corsair. Thank you. You had to look at my Twitch page to make sure I do have it all listed up there. I think I have the Vengeance. I can look it up right now. I have something. It doesn't matter. It is not germane to the.
And maybe they'll still offer things. I mean, as of right now, if you go to the Origin PC configurator, you can still put in like Kingston RAM and other shit. But it does specifically have promo item Corsair Vengeance RAM free upgrade. So we'll see how long.
Okay, so you can still build with other shit, but they might be like free if you take this.
Yeah, at least as of right this second. Who knows how it's going to be in a month?
Honestly, this is one of those stories that I kind of had a borderline interest just for that question on there, but you said it out the gate. We both build our own PCs.
Yep.
Anyways, this is not a question that we're going to have a 100% answer to anytime soon. We're going to have to see how things shape, if Origin actually still lets you put in components from other companies, or if it's going to become essentially a Corsair-only company. I don't know which is going to happen, but we'll find out sooner or later. Probably later. In the meantime, however, as we're waiting to find out with bated breath what the answer is going to be to this super, super fucking important topic that we're never going to revisit again. What can I play to keep myself occupied in the meantime?
Oh, dude, you want to talk about new releases? I can do that. I can do that for you. I'm a nice guy. I'll just start with probably the only one of the things that are coming out this week that I might play, and that's Forager, which is a game that's already on Steam. It's releasing for PS4 and Switch. It's a top-down indie survival game. So gameplay-wise, think of a mix between base building of Don't Starve, but the fighting of what's that crying baby game you love so much? Binding of Isaac.
That's one hell of a combination.
Now, don't expect it to be that good, but that's just what the gameplay looks like.
The Dime Store look at it when you kind of look at the Steam trailer for 5 seconds ago. Okay.
Yep. So as you're going around the area, you're exploring, you're fighting different monsters, and the combat actually looks really fun. And you craft, you gather, you manage resources, and you start building a base. So you're slowly expanding a base like you would in Minecraft or Terraria or Don't Starve or any of those other survival style games. But the actual combat actually looks really fun.
So that sounds interesting. I could probably get into that.
And it's also going to be on Switch, which is where games like this go to thrive for me. I mean, I won't buy it full price, but I will definitely wait for it to be on sale and probably pick it up before I get on a plane somewhere, bringing things back around. Also coming out this week, we have the Blackout Cub for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. This is an online multiplayer co-op horror game.
A lot of these popping up.
This one is not asymmetrical, so you don't play against some other random asshole playing Jason trying to kill you. But it is centered around a group of teenage friends investigating a secret beneath their small town. So 1 to 4 players explore a procedurally generated... The town itself is set, but the missions are procedurally generated. And there's different monsters and enemies and stuff, and you hide from them, and you work together to solve puzzles, and you can jump on top of buildings to get away from the monsters. You can make noise. You can distract them. You can try and fight them.
My initial impression of this was Dead by Daylight without a player-controlled hunter.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I get, which also makes me less excited for it because the thrill of Dead by Daylight is the fact that the person trying to kill you is someone with actual intelligence, not artificial intelligence. Yeah. That has always made that. That's also why Depth is so good because, damn, it's spooky when it's a shark. Madden NFL 20 hits for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's Madden NFL 2020. There's been like 40 of these. If you don't know what it is, I'm not going to explain it to you. John Madden was a guy that played football one time, and they announced it, and then they made a video game for him on Super Nintendo, and they've been doing it for like 40 video games. You want it or you don't. The Church in the Darkness is something that I feel like you would play.
Oh, I'm super excited for this, actually.
PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, all the damn things. It's a violent-looking action indie stealth game. So it's a top-down game. It's set in 1977. Your nephew has joined a religious cult in South America, and you're there to sneak in, find out what's going on, decide if you want to help him out. It's an adventure game where you're investigating like a creepy cult where people are all trying to murder you if they figure out who you are, but you can get in disguises and I don't know.
It is essentially Jonestown, the video game. Like you're in trying to get people out of this cult, which is Jonestown. If you don't know what Jonestown is, take a look at it. It was a
don't drink the Kool-Aid
thing. PR was kind enough to give me a code to this because I have been keeping an eye on this game for like fucking 4 years now since I saw it back at PAX 2015, I think it was. I will be playing this the second I can, but I am embargoed on it until sometime. I don't even know if I can tell you when I can actually start playing, so I'm going to stop right there. But I do have a copy of this. PR sent it to me, and I will be streaming this the moment I can. I am really looking forward to this.
Soon. And finally... This isn't a full game release, but Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Prophecy, which has way too many fucking names, hits PC. This is an expansion to Warhammer 40k Inquisitor, which is the 40k hack and slash game. 40k, if you're not aware, is the franchise that Games Workshop has owned forever that they didn't license to to the folks that make the BattleNet a very, very long time ago, which is why we ended up with StarCraft. So it's the original IP for that nonsense, but it's
an action RPG. You play an Inquisitor. I actually liked Warhammer Inquisitor Martyr, and this is a standalone expansion of that. So I might pick this up. I was a fan of Martyr. I haven't finished it yet. It's on my list of things to polish off, but I have liked what I've played of it so far. It is an action RPG that actually has a cover mechanic.
That's cool. I've heard that the gameplay gets a little stale and it's not quite as interesting as a problem one.
It is also, it's an action RPG, so gameplay, it's all about doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting loot.
And Yar, we have not really talked about Youngblood besides its release because our schedules don't mix super well and we have not played it.
No, I've played like a little bit of it.
Not in proper co-op though.
Not in proper co-op, but what I have played is It's mediocre. I expect more from Machine Games. But since I think another studio worked on it, that could be why.
It's Wolfenstein-y. Also, as a final aside, I think, to round out new releases, because I don't have anything else to talk about, I do have to throw it back to that Jonestown thing and the fact that I said don't drink the Kool-Aid, which is something that's been said since like fucking 1970s when there was the whole massacre with a bunch of people killing themselves because they drank the Kool-Aid.
I believe like literally 8,000 plus people. It was that it is
900 and change.
Yeah.
But it turns out, via a quick Google, that it's been a misnomer for 50 years. They actually drank Flavor Aid.
No shit.
Yeah. Just found that out. Flavor Aid is the real culprit. Which
Kool-Aid,
was,
the drink
mixed
of
with
sane
Valium,
people.
chloral hydrate, cyanide, and Fernanigan.
Yeah.
Which,
if Jonestown is fascinating to learn about because it was one man that kind of was able to convince, and I use the term loosely, convince.
There's a
900 plus
documentary
people to
you
commit
can watch
suicide.
on it that
And I use suicide in quotes too.
There's a lot of documentaries you can watch on it. That shit's real fucking spooky, but that happened.
Yeah. David, that wraps up new releases, which in turn wraps up the show. This has been GamePoints episode 185, and we appreciate everyone showing up today. Salty Frank, Yarjun, Introspect, Stellanor, and everyone else in chat, be it lurking or active. You're definitely appreciated here, and you too can join the show like all these fine people did every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here at Twitch TV/GamePoints. But if you can't join the show, understandable. You can follow us at youtube.com/GamePointsPC to catch all the old shows as well as a couple of random streams there too. If you want to support what you see here because you like it, you can do what every streamer wants. Likes, follows, bits, subscriptions. If you're sitting on Amazon or Twitch Prime free account and you haven't used it yet, I'd appreciate that sub here. But if you don't use it here, use it somewhere. Give it to your favorite streamer. You can follow the show on Twitter at GamePointsPC. You can follow myself there at CapitalistPig21. And you can follow David there at Palshife_Satori. We will be back tomorrow with random game streaming. Don't know what yet. Maybe Fire Emblem, maybe something else. I can't tell you. But we will be back with the next episode of the podcast next Monday, once again, at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. David, thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. And thank you all in chat for doing the same. This has been Game Points. Until next time, we're out of here.